We have here New York Post. There was a lot of hubbub last night. They say his name was spelt wrong. Those idiots. Because he called us MAGA extremists, right? He calls our side horrible names and he's going to call and say, sorry, your husband's dead. Get out of here. Don't need to talk to you. Says if you listen to some cable news, they're going to say it was long. But for Republicans listening, it was the most notable thing about it. It was happening at all. Trump was almost dead. Donald Trump and the RNC put on one heck of a show. And this is what it looked like when Trump came out. You're going to see this big stage gets lifted up, and here is the scene. Here's the stage. It was wild. Look at this. So then they lift it up the thing, and boom, Trump right there. In the middle of the U, he comes out. It was wild. And so each one of those little panels, of course, turned into a screen. We got to see the chart that saved America and saved the world, the immigration chart. Thanks, Joe Biden, at least, for giving us the worst immigration policies of all time that led to millions of people coming in illegally. And now that chart is going to enable Trump to save the entire planet. Great. So that was plastered all over every single screen. Wild scene. We also saw that there was this scene. This was an interesting behind the scenes take. This came from Dan Scavino. And so here's what it looked like when that scene opened up, when Trump was actually there behind the panel. Here's what it looked like. Trump about to make his grand entrance. And then, boom, the stage shade, whatever it's called, goes up. Trump makes his way out, and then the rest is history, right? We got it from there. So it was an absolutely interesting night. We had some reaction. There was this scene where Trump was taking us over to this jacket for the firefighter, Corey Competore, who is no longer with us. May he rest in peace and peace to his families. We have here New York Post. There was a lot of hubbub last night. They say his name was spelt wrong. Those idiots at the RNC spelled his name wrong because they don't care about dead firefighters or whatever, right? Because they're scum. But turns out that's not true. This is actually his jacket. You can see the patch is just small, right? You've had this before. You go buy some luggage or something. You're like, I like to put Robert Gouveia on there. They're like, we're not putting Robert Gouveia on there. Like, what do you want? You want like RG? I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just put RG on there. Like, it's like this big. I'm like, I want Robert the Great on there. They're like, no, you're gonna have R and a G. I'm like, fine, I put it on there. So that's it, right? So he doesn't have space for his entire name. So that's all they put on there. And a bunch of people, he spelled his name wrong, idiots. Turns out it was his actual jacket. So here's what they reported. Says it wasn't a misstep by Trump or the RNC, you jerks. Says here, outrage over a misspelling. I think Harry Sisson and the rest of them went bananas over this. They said that they misspelled it. No, the firehouse misspelled it, right? The 11-letter surname of Comparator, who was murdered, and no one's been held accountable for that. We have a dead assassin, so-called, and no one's responsible for allowing a dead assassin to be on the roof. But anyways, he was murdered, shielding his family as Thomas Crook shot him in the head. Now, Trump brought the slain supporter's actual jacket and helmet out with him. Went over there, gave it a big fat kiss. It was a beautiful moment, and it was a great scene. Rest in peace, Corey. Man, what a good-looking dude, man. Nice family, too. And you can see, here's the screen that we're sharing right now. Says his last name wouldn't fit on the coat. So the A, we had to remove the A to make it fit. Here's the jacket, you can see. So they had to remove the A. You only get so much space, just like the letters on your luggage. So he's a good-looking dude. A lot of people freaked out about it. Kyle Griffin says his name is misspelled on this firefighter's jacket. Aaron Newman. Actually, it's his real coat. His last name wouldn't fit on it, so they removed the A. Okay, they literally posted that on Saturday. Doofus. The 50-year-old hero's devastated widow didn't take Biden's call. I didn't talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him because he called us MAGA extremists, right? He calls our side horrible names, and he's going to call and say, sorry, your husband's dead. Get out of here. Don't need to talk to you. So that was a moving moment. The left tried to make it into something that it was not, as they always do, and they blew that one bigly. And so we had some other reaction. There was some comments about how the speech was a little bit of a mix of Trump reading from the teleprompter, right? Reading from the prepared script and then ad-libbing. This is what it looked like from behind the scenes. So he's looking over here and you can see he's reading. Right at the heart of the Republican platform is our pledge to end this border nightmare. And Trump is just talking about all sorts of other things. And then they go back and then the teleprompter will start picking up again. So it was one of those nights, one of those speeches, and a wild scene. We had a lot of fun covering it. Here is what Byron York said about it. He says that the Trump speech strengthens the bond with supporters. And I agree with this completely. It says if you listen to some cable news, they're going to say it was long. But for Republicans listening, it was the most notable thing about it. It was happening at all. Trump was almost dead. When they saw Trump take the stage, they shuddered to think what would have happened if Saturday had gone differently. Before the speech, Byron says, I talked to 15 delegates, alternates, and everything. My question, what effect has the Trump assassination had on the convention? Here are some of the responses. They said, it was very traumatic, but I think it brought all the Trump fans stands together. We're like a love fest now. It humanized him. Point we made last night. He's always been this very strong leader, but it made us realize he's susceptible to danger. Right? He showed some vulnerability. He would never admit that, but he did. When he said, I don't want to talk about this again. Okay, that was pain and hurt. Holy crap, Trump has pain and hurt like the rest of us? What? He's a real man. First, it made me very angry. The left has done just about everything to get rid of him. But I saw the picture of Trump raising his fist after being shot. I said, that's a warrior. That's somebody we need to lead our country. I just doubled down on support. I could tell the minute I walked into the convention, the whole mood was energized. It created an additional level of fervor. People realize how close we came to losing him. The amount of support has risen dramatically. We're all grateful he's alive. There hasn't been any danger in the party. There's been a resolve to double down and to triple down on support, and I'm really proud of our party this week. The day after the assassination, Trump told me he threw away the speech he'd prepared. I basically had a speech that was unbelievable rip-roar. It was brutal, really good, really tough. Last night I threw it out. I think it would be very bad if I got up and started going wild about how horrible everybody is and how corrupt and crooked, even if it's true. Had this not happened, we had a speech that was pretty well set, that was extremely tough. Now we have a speech. It's more unifying. Now, the first part of the speech, which was, I think, put perfectly, right? People would tune out. It got late, so people would tune out. It's about retention. We talk a lot about in the content creation space is retention. How long do people watch your videos for? Not do they watch it, but whether they watch it, of course, is important, but how long they watch. And it always drops, right? There's always a retention. Not everybody watches 100% of the video. I know you all do. That's why I love you so much. Thank you for watching it all. But a lot of people don't. And so they got to see that assassination story. That was part one. It's like, oh my gosh. And so they saw that. If viewers were expecting a bombast Trump, they got something different. They got that humanity, that authenticity, that vulnerability. It takes days for the public reaction to a big event like this to fully form, but perhaps they liked the new and even quieter Trump. In any event, the speech went on. Trump became more of his old self, no doubt. He got back into form, sort of came back into a political rally. Some voters were commenting on this from CNN. You see here, Wisconsin voters. Let's see what this fella said. Clip here, 15 seconds from this gentleman.
You gave it what grade?
I gave it an A.
Nice.
And why'd you give it an A?
Because it's Donald Trump. He always has been. And even though with the incident that happened Saturday, he still came out as himself.
Barb, you gave it what?
Nice. All right, so I think that's a good take. A score on that one. Even Anderson Cooper seemingly was kind of excited about this. He really liked the Hulk Hogan thing. I really love when Hulk Hogan ripped his shirt off, you know? You know what I mean?
And even tonight, I mean, Hulk Hogan, of all people, probably reached an audience which hasn't paid a lot of attention, hasn't listened to Trump speeches before, and did it in an extraordinarily compelling way. I'm not a devotee like Scott of WrestleMania.
So yeah, he liked that one a lot. Some people like that one a lot. I thought it was certainly interesting, but left a mark there with Anderson. So that was good.